Well, welcome again to Spotlight. I'm Pastor Dan, and we are doing a series on the Sabbath. I hope you've seen the first two. If not, find them somehow. And I could just give you a Bible study. I know how to do that, but let's look at some new ways of looking at some things. I was a young pastor, and I was at Newbury Park at the academy there, and just my mind sort of exploding, looking at new ways of looking at some of these things. And I got into the subject of the Sabbath and when Jesus and the disciples were walking through the field. You know that there were all these rules. The Jewish people had decided that they had been sent into captivity in Babylon because they had broken the rules, including the Sabbath. And so in order to make sure, they took the Ten Commandments and then they put all kinds of rules about that. So they thought that if they kept all the little rules, that would make sure they would keep the big rule. So there would be this impenetrable Sabbath to shore up rules about the Sabbath. Anyway, those rules included not eating grain on the Sabbath, picking grain from the field. That would be harvesting. That would be work. And then you can't do that. And now you're eating it and you're winnowing it and all bad. So, of course, the police, the righteous, religious, Pharisaical police, you know about some of those people, are right there to say, Jesus, they're breaking the rules. They're harvesting and they're winnowing and they're eating it, and these people are not respecting the rules of our religion. They're gonna cause a problem to our people. How can you allow that, Jesus? And what would be our answer? What was Jesus' answer? What is the purpose of the Sabbath? We're always having to go back to that. What is the purpose of the Sabbath? It's always a relational thing. God made the Sabbath, and he made us with a soul so we could have the Sabbath to be with him. And we have language, and we have spirituality, and we have spiritual sensitivity, and we have a soul. And so God made it so he could come down and hang out with us. That's the purpose of the Sabbath. So now God is here. They were walking through the field with God himself, with Jesus. Other times he said, you mourn and you're sad when the bridegroom is gone, but when the bridegroom is here, you dance and you celebrate because the bridegroom is here. He said, he's here. He was in the field with them. If the Sabbath is a day to be with Jesus, and you're in the field with Jesus, you by definition are keeping the Sabbath, because that's the whole point, is to be hanging out with Jesus. Now you may say, Pastor Dan, does that mean you can do whatever you want as long as you're with Jesus? Can you go to the mall? Are you with Jesus in the mall? Are you hanging with Jesus? Or are you shopping and bargaining and trying to make a deal? Are you with Jesus? Can you watch a basketball game? Are you with Jesus? Can you make some business dealing? Are you with Jesus? It is always the question. And so Jesus says, the Son of Man is Lord of the Sabbath. Isaiah 58:14, we delight in the Lord. It's a day to be with God. Have you lost that somewhere? Have we got lost in this rules of the day? What can you do? What you cannot do? Is it okay if? Can you go swimming? Can you go wading? Can you do this or that? And all these Pharisaical battles they had in the rabbinical debates about the Sabbath. And Jesus cuts through all of that and just say, they're with me. That's what Sabbath is. And someday the Sabbath is a taste of heaven, and we will be with Jesus forever. That's the whole point. So I just encourage you to put some anchor points down. The Sabbath is a day to be with Jesus. And if you're with Jesus, you're keeping the Sabbath. And that settles almost every question. And if you were honest with that reality, We were having a youth group one time when I was a young pastor, and the kids were jumping into a pool, and we had to say, no, it's a Sabbath. So everyone began to do more Sabbath things except one kid that I had baptized. And here he was on the diving board and jumping into the pool, and I had to say, come on, Dan. His name is Danny. I said, Dan, what are you doing? He said, what's wrong with it? I said, the day's today to be with Jesus. He said, were you thinking about Jesus during that time? Were you relating, hanging out with Jesus? I said, no, but I could have been. I said, that's the point. You weren't. That kind of activity doesn't really easily fit with being with Jesus. So this is the day that we're finally free of everything else so we can hang out with Jesus. Doesn't mean we're in the deep books. It doesn't mean we're doing things. It just means we're aware and worshiping and hanging out with Jesus, restoring our soul with Jesus. This is Spotlight. Thanks for being with us. Thank you for watching Spotlight. We're so excited about this. We hope that you'll subscribe and so you'll get all of them. And please just forward it on to others and tell other people about it. And let's just see what kind of an audience we can get for these messages of Spotlight. God bless you.